Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ivy Games Weekly. I am Austin Harrison, and I will introduce you to our guests in just one second. Not to muddy the waters, I'm going to do our giveaway from last week really quickly, just so we can get that out of the way before we jump into everything else. We actually took last week off. Zach ended up being sick. Luckily, he has returned to the mostly healthy of us and is here today. So you'll see his lovely face and beard in a second. But this is our giveaway from the Deliverance episode of Ivy Games Weekly. And so if you watched that episode and commented, then you are going to get to be eligible for a drawing for a... oh, hey, everyone is here. Dang it. I can't even do that right. All right, go away, guys. Oh, it's just Zach.
It's me now. Hello.
Hi, Zach.
Zach
back. joined the stage first, and so he's the solo person. So we're going to go back to this view. Hang out for a second, Lizzy and Derek. You know, everything happens great live. All right, so we're going to pick a winner for the interview we had with Andrew Lowen. And this is going to be for an Ivy Games Weekly. Grinning Inside. This is a very large comment, and so I'm not going to read it all on stream. But Grinning Inside, you have won a KS exclusive edition of Moonrakers. Please join our Discord and reach out to me, Austin, on there, and we will make sure that you get your game. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. All right, let's do this properly now. Derek and Lizzy Funkhouser, thank you guys so much for being on the show. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for asking us. It was really we were excited when you reached out.
Yeah, well, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but you were overseas and obviously not able to be on the show, and I want to talk to you more about that in a second. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for being such a welcoming light in the community. I was completely out of my element at my first Gen Con before Moonrakers launched, and I was at a party for content creators because I was trying to get someone to look at Moonrakers, and you guys were some of the nicest people I met that night. So just thank you. You had no reason to be. You had no idea who I was. So just thank you for being great people, and really excited to talk to you guys more today. But yeah, and then I have Zach. You already kind of
and then me.
Then Zach, college roommate. You know, in my wedding, he's okay.
That's all the information that you need about me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've known Zach for forever now.
Yes,
really.
His whole life, basically.
Lifelong friend.
He grew up in a wonderful land of chocolate in Hershey, PA, and hates chocolate. Will not eat it.
you could literally smell chocolate on the way, like on the bus to school. You would smell chocolate.
I've been there.
Is that why you kind of hate it? You're just around it so much that you're just like, oh, I'm just tired of seeing and
you know, I think that might be it. It's really hard to say. I just never have been into it. And like, I don't know. Also, like, if you're really into chocolate, I feel like Hershey chocolate's not like great chocolate. And I feel like I can say that because, you know, I'm from there.
Our child doesn't really like chocolate.
He's hit or miss sometimes. But like my mom grew up in a town where Nestle is. And so whenever we visit, they call it chocolate pollution. The town smells like chocolate too. So like I understand it can be like overwhelming and you're like, I just want to get away from that.
Zach's gonna get to heaven and it's gonna smell like chocolate. He's gonna be like, nope, I'm out.
Nope, this is not. Other options, please.
Oh man. All right. We're not here to talk about chocolate, although that does sound like an interesting episode. If you don't know who Lizzy and Derek are, they are you guys are, why can't I think of the word? I was going to say objects in the board game community.
Objects.
Figureheads.
Oh,
you guys are.
good.
What's the word I'm looking for? You're figures. You're awesome people in the board game
creators.
Derek, you work at Skybound. You guys both are really involved on Boardgame Spotlight. And I am blown away by that community. It is so active. It has 20,000 plus people, right? At this point.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and so we're actually going to get to talk about that a lot later. But I am really excited to just kind of hear more about you guys. And so could you kind of share how you got involved in the board game industry?
Yeah, sure. You want me to go first?
Of course.
So James Hudson reached out to me circa, 2016, 2017. Was looking for somebody to start publishing content for his channel with Druid City Games. And he reached out to a few of us and we, answered the call, I guess. And really, it was just right place at the right time. And I just stuck with it. It wasn't paid. It was just putting out like writing and it was just being involved and just saturating myself with board games and kind of like figuring out what I liked and what I didn't like and kind of just finding my place in the board game world. And that kind of just snowballed, and the Boardgame Spotlight took off. James, Lizzy, and I. Lizzy came along a couple years after, actually. Yeah, a couple years after I was doing it.
Well, like after you started writing, it was about 6 months when we're like, "Hey, do you guys want to live stream?" And I was like, "Maybe, I don't know." And then once we started live streaming, that was it. It was just we were
fell in love with it, and we just have been doing it ever since. And so it's been really cool to see the growth and kind of see our own personal growth and how things have gone. I mean, oh my goodness, I go back and I watch our first streams and I
Are they still
cringe.
up?
Oh yeah,
why haven't you taken them down?
now people are going to go out there and watch them.
The funny thing is, I watch my streams from last week and I cringe, especially because I can't say I can't remember any words, and I say words like objects. Figureheads,
still cringy.
Oh yeah,
figureheads is not the right word either. It was fixtures. Fixtures was the word I was looking for.
I knew
Zach guessed it. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, no, I feel that we also run a animation studio as well too, and like you just gotta hide those old videos. You just gotta hide them. You gotta keep them there though to keep yourself like you see where you came from. Like be like, look at how far I've come. It's pretty fun when you look at it from that context, but you're also like, I mean, I'm sure. Like to everyone else, though, I'm sure it's like, oh no, they were amazing, they were great. But like for you, as yourself, you're just like, oof, what was I thinking? The choices I was making back then.
At least we weren't like on screen for the first couple months. Like it was just the video, like of the game, so you could only see like our hands. And then we eventually got like a second camera, so we were on screen,
it's
and that's
really
when it really
to see kind of like the progression of things.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
That's amazing. All right.
And now, I mean, we run the Spotlight. Lizzy runs the Spotlight, and I work for Skybound as a developer. So,
yeah. So, were you like into board games? Like, how did you meet James?
Just met him online, some random dude.
Derek was in all the other board game groups, and Derek, he's friends with everyone. He comments and everything, and so James saw him commenting and was like, I like the way he interacts. I like the way he's talking to other people.
Yeah, I think what happened was I think I said roll tide, and then he just came out of nowhere.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's just like a signal, like the bat signal, and then he was like, "Yo, what's up?" No, it was like just being online and I don't know.
No. Just being your friendly
active
self
and being friendly, and I don't know.
Yeah. So tell us more about your development work. What games have you worked on?
So Lizzy and I both co-designed a game called The Walking Dead: Something to Fear with Skybound that came out 2 years ago. And I've done development work on Tidal Blades, and I've done work on Wonderland's War. I've done work on Trial by Trolley, Pitch Storm, Red Flags, Bloodstone.
Nice.
So some games that are coming out. So I came on board with Skybound back in 2019. And so the things that we were working on then are now starting to come to fruition. So you'll start seeing those more. Like Wonderland's War should hit backers this year. I hope, cross our fingers.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Tidal Blades is already out there. Yeah. So Tidal Blades is out there.
So James came on the show, months ago at this point, and me and Zach talked about how one of our like main games that we didn't back that we wanted to play was Tidal Blades. And James, being the nice person he is, was like, "Hey, you guys got to try it out." So we have one right there. And Zach and I have not started our in-person gaming yet, but that's like top of the list. Like we're like a week away. We were going to do it last week, and then Zach got sick, so we're getting back into it. In this show, we have a fun game we do called Zach is Frozen, and if I beat him to it, I get to put up the ticker.
Sometimes my
and
camera
I got
just
him.
Shorts out. It's a great time.
It's a great time. All right, so I'm really excited to play that game. The production is off the charts. Like like unboxing it is just like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. So it's definitely one of my like most anticipated games. So excited about that, and then up there with Bloodstone too. Like I can't wait for that to relaunch.
We're really excited for that one.
I mean, the animation at the beginning was awesome, and then the just the different modes you can play. I mean, it just seemed like there was so much content there and so much different ways to enjoy it. So I don't know. I'm ready to back that one again, day one. So hopefully
there's a lot more people that are. I think we're going back to drawing board and looking at how we can make that campaign the best it can be. Going through and doing a lot of development work alongside Ben Kepner and Jesse Wright and Sinfun Lim.
I saw James post about it, and I was just like, how are they adding this much content to this game? Because it was a lot more stuff. So I'm really excited to see the changes when it happens. All right, so you have your chops. Both designing, both of you have done designing work. You have your board game community, and then you also are parents. So when do you find time to eat, sleep, do anything else?
And also play board games.
Yeah,
when do you do that?
Well, it's a tag team thing, you know. I go down with him in the evening and, you know, a couple hours to get into bed. Derek wakes up with him in the morning. And then he's finally getting to the point where we can start to play games. So we got Strike.
Yeah.
And he actually can play that, like,
he actually can play it.
So that's like, I think that's like one of the first games that he actually will sit through and follows all the rules on his own.
He's getting better at Loop and Chewy. He likes Loop and Chewy.
He doesn't do well if he loses, though.
No, he's not a good loser.
I saw a post and someone was like, you could totally juice that thing up.
Yeah, that was a video I made.
Faster. And I was like, oh my goodness, that sounds awesome.
I know, we need to try that.
Yeah.
But right now we have a babysitter that's watching him, and once he's down for the count, like in the evening, he's a good sleeper. So
and we basically just game for 2-3 hours every night.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll read the rule books. Lizzie's a visual learner, so she watches like the how to plays. We'll both watch the how to play, but I'll always read the rule book beforehand. And if there's any clarifying questions, I'll be like, yeah, this is what this is or whatever. So we just knock out games.
We're pretty fast learners too, though. So I think that helps when you've been doing this for so long.
The more you play games, the faster it is
you pick up on mechanics. You're like, oh, I know deck builder. You start to see the similarities and signs, even if they use different symbols. You can, figure out what it means.
You can see the patterns.
Yeah.
Zach, how does Sarah learn games?
I usually just learn it ahead of time, read the rule book, watch stuff, and then I like to explain games. I enjoy it, and yeah.
So I am okay at explaining it. It's not great, but when I explain it to Alana, somehow I always end up leaving out a pivotal rule that helps me win. And so no longer am I allowed to teach. She has to teach herself to play games. And our enjoyment has gone up after that because we both come to the table knowing how to play and we just play. It's not like an hour of me like,
that's nice.
Well, then you move this. Like it's just like straight to the playing. Yeah. And so I've gotten her to play way more games this year than any other year because she's finally figured out how she wants to learn. And
one of the things
made it great for us. So
one of the things I learned early was like start with how to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell everybody this is what you're trying to accomplish. This is how you win the game, and then go from there. Because if people have an idea of like the end goal, end game, then you can tie back what you're learning and be like, okay, cool. Now I can see how this works, and that's really the best way to teach games. I think.
We tease Zach because he starts every game explanation the same way, and it's always the point of the game is to win, and to win you do this, and it's like, well, of course the point of the game is to win. I can't wait till we play a game that is not.
I know. That comes from just like I feel like it comes back like someone hurt me a long time ago, and some people don't play games to win; they just play to just like screw me over or something like that. Like that's their goal, and so it's just like. No. We're all here to win. Let's go.
Yeah. We had to add a rule to our Discord Twilight Imperium games because there was one night where one person was kind of just trying to end the game, and everyone else was like, "Stop giving people the win. You have to try to actually win your game." So it is annoying when someone's like, "I'm done playing. I'm just going to end it as fast as possible."
Call it, yeah. Yep. Recently, like. Seb, he's our child. He's gotten better at like kind of playing by himself, or we'll give him like let him have our tablet. He'll play on his tablet, and it gives us, if we just get like a 30-45 minute break here or there, we can get away and like, just learn a game or whatever. So
I got Catapult Kingdoms, and I am waiting to try to introduce my son, who's not quite 3 yet, to that because I think he will love it. Just like the tactile, like launching rocks. And stuff.
I really wish I had kickstarted that.
Yeah, it's massive. It's like 3 boxes.
Yeah. It looks just like a lot of fun, though. It's exactly what kids want to do is like,
Smash
build
stuff.
a castle and then blow it up with the catapult.
Totally. Oh, man. All right. So going back to Boardgame Spotlight, this is something that had to be really small when you guys started. Do you guys remember like what it was at, what James had gotten to when you guys were just joining?
I think it was like 4,000.
Oh, that's not that small, but you've grown it a lot.
3,000 or 4,000, I think. Yeah,
way bigger
when I look back at like when I was added as an admin, I want to say it might even have been close, pushing 5. But yeah, I mean, it was growing really well because he had used it for Barnyard Roundup, as a channel to do giveaways, and I think he had also used it for Grim Forest, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
And then I came on.
Awesome. I mean, 22,000 is a wild number. That's just so many people. There's no way that all 22,000 people are that active, right? And that
our numbers I looked up the other day, it's over 15,000 active.
About 15,000 active members.
That's amazing.
Oh wow! Wait,
Yeah.
like commenting and liking,
Commenting,
or just
liking,
viewing?
So
being
the
in there, whatever.
the Facebook algorithm is if you do any sort of interaction, like, share, comment,
Wow.
post, that makes you active.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was going to make a joke about there being a bunch of lurkers that still read all the content, but that aren't
Like,
engaged.
don't engage,
But
yeah.
15,000 people engaging
That's
is
great.
wild, guys. You guys.
I know,
are
it's pretty
so
crazy.
proud of
And
that.
like, I know that it's grown a lot. Our active numbers have been up a lot, especially over the last year with the pandemic. I think that's helped a lot with getting our numbers up and getting more people involved in interacting because they don't have that, actual physical community. So they're relying much more on their virtual one.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Oh man. So how did you guys grow the community? Like, is it just, I won't lead the question. How did you guys work to grow it? What are some of the biggest success points that you think you've had?
I think a lot of it's just word of mouth. We get a lot of people invited in.
It reminds me of my Starbucks story.
Or like Derek talks to everyone.
So 2 days ago, I went to Starbucks and I was the only person in line, which is a miracle in itself of our Starbucks. There's always like 8 cars in line. So I was the only one there. I'm like, okay, weird. So I get in and the guy's like, hey, my name's Tom. What's your name? I'm like, I'm Derek. How are you? And he's like, I'm doing well. What can I help you with? And I was like, I'd like some coffee. He's like, oh, I can do that for you. I was like, cool. That's great.
That's what I mean.
So I order. And then afterwards, he's like, hold on. Before you go, you have to tell me an interesting fact about yourself. And I was like, okay. I was like, I make board games. And then there's a pause. And then he was like, seriously? I was like, yeah. So then I pull up around. Nobody's behind me still. So we have this 5-minute conversation about board games, asking like how that works and all this stuff. And I was just like, hey man, you know what? Here's my business card. Come join our Facebook group.
Oh, nice.
That's incredible.
So it's just
Boots
like
on the
using
ground.
opportunities like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was at a doctor's appointment. It's like an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And he like did a quick examination. He was like, you're fine. He's like, so do you have to take off work to be here? And I was like, kind of. I work. It's a pretty flexible company. He's like, oh, what do you guys do? I said, oh, yeah, I work on board games. It was like a 45-minute to an hour consultation where the first 5 minutes were about my ear, nose, and throat. And the next 50 minutes were about board games. And then I got a bill for $400.
Yeah,
and I was like,
your health insurance loves that.
I was like,
so
what?
much.
What? Why am I paying for this? Like, I didn't. Anyway, so there's good times to have like an interesting fact about you and bad times apparently, but I doubt I got charged for the time, but it certainly felt like I did. Anyway, but that's awesome. All right, so what do you think? And this is just a broad question, and we've talked about this a lot with playtesting. People have asked us what makes a good playtester, what makes a good community member in a community like Boardgame Spotlight.
I think it's like the support and being active, whether or not you're liking a post and some sort of interacting with a post, whether or not, because we do have a lot of lurking members. I mean, we have members that'll only really like or share or, do something like that, but it still brings up, the Facebook statistics. And maybe they don't feel comfortable commenting yet, or they don't have anything to say. And we have a lot of people that will only post or comment whenever they have something they feel is worthwhile to share. So I would say like a good community member kind of holds to that idea that like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. If you don't have anything to really contribute to the conversation, if you disagree with something, move on, just scroll. There's no reason to make it known that you disagree with whatever's being said. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just scroll. Because I promise you that below that post, there's another one. And then below that one, there's another one. And you can keep going
Until you find something that
until
you
you're
agree
finished
with.
in the bathroom. And then you can, go.
Excuse me.
I love that.
No, it's for us, following the rules. We have tried to cultivate a group of inclusivity and love, and also just being respectful, knowing that we're all people, we all enjoy a hobby together, and there's no reason to name call or and try to follow. The group has rules, And when you join a group, by joining, you're saying, I agree to the rules you're posting.
Yep.
And also remember that a Facebook private or public group still means that they can handle the group however they want to. There's no Second Amendment.
Right.
So, or First Amendment. Sorry, First Amendment.
There's probably no Second Amendment on Facebook either.
But like, they can handle. See, there's the cringe right there for us.
Way to go.
They can handle it however they want to, technically. And it's just don't get upset when a moderator or an admin messages you or removes your content. For us, we do try to message people if we remove something or something happens. We don't catch them all. We try. But there's only and
our group is actually pretty good about reporting stuff. And like, if I've had people message me and be like, hey, I don't know if you've seen this yet, it has potential to spin out of control. And they're really great about helping us admin the group as well, because they know it's a big group, we can't see everything. So I think that's great that our community is so involved and they want it to stay that safe, kind space where they're like, this might not go well, check it out.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was to be like a family environment too.
Yeah. It was a really hard couple of years to run online communities, just in general. We had elections, we had a bunch of social upheaval, we had, a pandemic where everyone's disagreeing about certain elements of that. It is hard to have a safe space where we can share our love about board games without also having conversations about, politics, let's say. And it was so refreshing for me personally. Our Discord was my safe haven. That is where I went to talk about board games. It's where I went to have friends when we couldn't have friends in person, right? And so, like, I know that being a part of a community really saved the pandemic for me. Like, I would have had a much harder time mental health wise if I didn't have that community. And I loved hearing that, Lizzy, you guys have big supporters that are making you aware of things, not adding to the fire, right? Of like, oh, there's a problem, I'm going to go tell everyone what I think about it. They're just like, hey, Lizzy, there's a person and it's spiraling. And like, we have great mods on our Discord that do the same thing. They're like, hey, Austin, this is happening right now. Please stop working and come look at this. And luckily that rarely ever happens. But it also, I love that it's not just like cancel, like from your end, it's not just like cancel that, like delete that post and like that person's gone, we ban them. Which, I mean, there are instances where that's totally understandable. But I love that you message the people and are like, hey, this is why that post got deleted. And like, this is the rule which you broke, and like try to bring them back into the fold and not just exclude them. Because I mean, we all say stupid stuff. I said objects. You guys were board game objects on things. So like, it happens.
And a lot of times, a lot of comments that get removed or posts that get removed, fall into the lines of politics or social issues and things like that. And a lot of those comments and things, again, it goes right back to pretty much our number one rule. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. And it seems weird as an admin or a mod to be like, to just tell your members to just be quiet, like don't say anything. Like it kind of feels aggressive, but honestly, I promise you, if you are a member of a community, it is so much better for you to just move on and don't exert the mental and emotional energy to get in an argument about something, because neither of you are going to have your minds changed.
Yep.
And you're only going to cause yourself stress, and you're going to be upset. And there are so many other things that you can go interact with. I promise.
And it's, oh, sorry, go ahead, Zach.
I was going to say, I'm curious then, like, just kind of looking back and like thinking about, your history on Boardgame Spotlight. Are there any like standout, like highlight moments, or just like moments where you're just like, wow, what a wonderful community? Maybe it's like a get together in person, or any specific stories you have that stand out?
We did a pizza party at Origins, I guess 2 years ago now, and that was really great. It was, I think that was it Thursday or Friday night.
That's incredible.
We just ordered, I don't know, like 20 pizzas.
Yeah, we ordered a bunch of pizzas, and we just said, come by and play games. We're going to be open
in this room. And so we had, probably a couple hundred people show up throughout the night. And so we had a bunch of big games going, a bunch
just
of little
games.
Designers came and brought prototypes, and it was just like a really nice time to hang out, meet a bunch of people that are in the community that we hadn't met in person. A lot of our old friends that we've known for a while came, and that was just a really fun thing. I really hope that we can do that again in the future at cons.
Well, we are. So, and then we did one at Gen Con with Tantrum House.
Yeah, we did that.
Nice.
We met in the CGE room, and we had a bunch of people just hanging out and playing games. And we're actually doing that again at Gen Con this year. We're going to have a Spotlight meetup on Friday or Saturday night, and we're going to be at the Mythic booth.
Nice.
So that'll be a lot of fun, and we'll put it out on our group, and anybody that's there is more than welcome to come by. We'll have some sort of snack. I don't know what it'll be. Probably pizza. It's just super easy.
We should get that pickle pizza.
The pickle pizza.
I saw that.
What's going on there?
Ranch pickle,
pickle, bacon, and cheese, and
So,
I don't know.
I mean,
It's just weird enough to work.
Those are my favorite parts about conventions, though, is being able to connect
pickles?
with. Yes.
Sorry.
Being able to connect with the community and like just gamers and members and publishers and other content creators and just honestly anybody. Because I mean, it goes back to what you said, Austin, of meeting. We got to meet you at Gen Con, and it was really cool to just have that moment of, hey, this is me, this is you, like face with a name, and then just chat.
Yep. It's totally true. So I forgot to mention something that I wanted to touch on, and that was that you were deployed recently and then had to step away from your work at Skybound and had to step away from content creation. Even though you were a boss and came back for a top 20 or a top 10 show, you were like in a compound and there was like camo like netting behind you, and you were doing like a top 10. Like it was incredible. Like I loved it. I watched that whole thing and I was like, he's such a cool dude for doing this.
That netting was his wall that separated him from three other guys.
That was actually my blanket.
Yeah, I mean, you use it as a wall.
Yeah, I was in a little cubicle with three other dudes.
So the way I want to bring that in is you're talking about highlights. Did you guys get any like encouraging notes from the community during your time of separation? Were the people that reached out to try to support you guys?
There were so many people that reached out like weekly saying, hey, thinking about you, is there anything we can do for you? How can we help? Like it was so encouraging to be in an industry that is so just supportive and loving and like, hey, how's Lizzy doing? How's Sebastian doing? How are you doing? Can we help you? Like people would send care packages to me.
That's awesome.
Wow.
They sent like Indie Boards and Cards sent a huge package of games over to us, and I got to play games with my friends over there. I have a really good friend who before I left ended up making me a really cool so those photo collage totes where you've got the individual plastic and you can put small box games. He made me one of those to take over there with me.
That's awesome.
And so I had all these small box games. So it was just really, man, it was amazing to see the community, come behind us because it was a hard time being gone for 10 months and then Lizzy having to raise a 3-year-old for almost a year by herself.
Wow.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then like you said, I mean, I had a 10 by 10 cubicle that was a shared space. So I had 10 by 10 and then they had their own little space and I had a little privacy curtain. And so
had to go outside for the showers in the bathroom. It was like college again.
I did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, walking outside in 20-degree weather while it's snowing just to go to the bathroom is not fun, but it is what it is. There were certainly much worse places I could have been. And I'm thankful that we weren't in any danger or harm or anything and everybody was okay. Oh
yeah. Well,
that's the child.
That's fine. You're gonna hear mine at some point, so no worries.
But yeah, it was cool, and I was glad that I was able to kind of take a minute to do like a quick video, like you saw the top. I think it was like my top 10 or top 15 games that I'm excited about for the year. Right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, thank you so much for your service, number one. And that's like goes back to like how. Because like it's a really hard time in board games right now. Like there's production problems, there's shipping problems, there's failed Kickstarters. Like stuff happens. Like and those notes make it so much better. We had to send a update out to pre-orders on our website for Moonrakers. There's a micro expansion, and it was supposed to launch this month. We were supposed to ship it out this month, and it's being produced with Veiled Fate. And Veiled Fate got delayed because of all those problems. And so I had to email all those people. I did not get a single person that was upset. It was like 600 people.
That's
and like
great.
I got 20 or 30 messages saying, hey, no worries. We're here to support you guys. Like we loved your game and would wait a year for this. No worries. Just tell us when it's coming. And like I was having a bad day. And instead I was like, I got to answer all these emails. I was like putting it off. Like, oh my gosh, I got 30 emails. And every one of them was like a positive, encouraging note. And I was just like, dang it. We have such a good community.
Stop being nice.
Stop being nice.
Let me wallow in my sorrow.
I'm trying to be angry. Yeah. That's incredible. All right. So obviously Boardgame Spotlight is not the only community out there. There are lots of other communities. Do you guys have favorite communities that you're a part of that are not Boardgame Spotlight?
I like Quackalope.
Quackalope's a lot of fun.
That's been fun.
I didn't even know you guys knew him.
I met him. Well, we both met him.
We met him 3 years ago.
No,
2018.
Oh, is that 3 years ago? That is 3 years ago.
I'm not very good at math, but that's 3 years.
That is, yeah. So we met him. He was just starting out. He'd only been doing it like a couple
His channel's
months.
at like 5,000.
So we got to meet him at like the very beginning of his journey and watch him. He's like a couple away from like 27 or 28.
Oh yeah, he's almost at 27,000. He's doing awesome.
It's incredible.
Work.
And he was just here last week. We were playing games and filming videos. So he's been a great friend. Him and Jan.
I really enjoy like Tantrum House. They've invited us as like guests and VIPs to their convention, which is in South Carolina. If you have not been to Tantrum Con, you gotta go.
Fun.
It's on my list for sure. Plus, I just love South Carolina. So
it's like 500 to 1,000 people, and it's just gaming. Sit down, games, play test. I mean, it is so chill. Yeah. And you get a hotel room right there in the hotel, and it's
nice.
Awesome.
That's
we definitely
awesome.
Enjoy going there. Yeah,
super love. So,
Derek, we both share a love of a certain game called Star Wars Rebellion, and you betrayed that love by making a video with Jesse about reasons you should not play Star Wars Rebellion. And I was very mad, and then I watched it, and I was like, okay, this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's a little clickbaity.
It was clickbaity. The complaints were somewhat valid, although I'm just going to have to tell Jesse next time I see him that I'm not pleased that he tried to ruin my day like that. But no, I'm really glad you love that game. I tried to get Zach to play it, and I totally messed it up. I had it be 4 players. It was like 8:30 at night when we started because I really wanted to play. And so Zach just has like a terrible taste in his mouth for this game, which is one of my all-time favorites. So
and if we're gonna carve out the time to play something that long, I'd rather play Twilight Imperium. I know
So the learning game's long, like 3 or 4, maybe 5 hours, depending on how it goes. 8. I mean, a week. You never know. Yeah. But once you know it, I do think that 2 people can get it down to 2 or 3 hours, which is much shorter than Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
I mean, my shortest
Twilight Imperium like 6 to 8.
My shortest game's an hour and a half, but I put the Rebel base right next to Coruscant, and that was turns out a bad idea. Who knew?
I think your shortest one was like half an hour.
Yeah, my shortest was half an hour because I did the same thing. And then
like I had a friend over. I had like just got settled in with like a movie and stuff, and then I heard what? It's over.
The first move he made was To My Planet. And then I lost that battle, and I was like, well,
all right.
Set up. We're gonna go again.
So we just reset it up.
Nice.
So like, whatever. You're already here.
That's incredible.
Still the best game ever.
No, yeah, it's probably one of my games with the most plays, which doesn't make any sense because of how long it takes to play.
Yeah.
The game with the most plays should be something very quick and small. But anyway, wild. All right. I wanted to talk about Discord. Do you guys have a Discord as well, don't you, for Boardgame Spotlight?
I mean, technically.
We do. We haven't really put much love into it recently, but we do have one, yeah.
Yeah, so Discord, it's harder for a different reason. There's so many different communities you can be a part of out there because Facebook is more posting, right? Posting, commenting, it makes sense. Everyone's done Facebook. Discord's more of like a chat room, right? It's like Slack. And I like that so much because it allows me to be like immediately in touch with someone that has a rules problem. Like I get direct messages all the time. People are like, "Hey, I'm playing Moonrakers right now. How do I do this?" And like we have great mods that help because I couldn't handle everybody's question like that. But do you guys have any other like platforms? Like, are you guys on TikTok? Are you guys trying to like move into anything else like that?
Yeah. So Skybound Tabletop also has a Discord.
Nice.
So theirs is a lot more active than the Spotlight is. So you can also join that one if you're interested, which again, you can get into like the Title Blades rules questions, the Wonderlands War, Trial by Trolley, anything we have, there's like a channel for it. You can get involved. But yeah, Lizzy does
Instagram, Twitter. We do have
TikTok.
a TikTok.
We do TikTok.
We're not like super consistent, like, everyday video or anything.
No,
but when
TikTok is just an inspirational
strikes,
thing.
Derek's got some good stuff on there. And then we do the YouTube and Twitch channels as well.
Yeah.
We'll stream there.
Zach keeps on bringing up TikTok, and I'm like, Zach, we're too old. We're too old to try.
No, we're not. You're not too old.
We're not too old, Austin.
Man, there's so many people. There's
life left in us.
Here's the craziest thing about TikTok is that it seems like it's a young person's platform, and it certainly is made for like the Gen Zers. But depending on what you interact with, you can curate your page to come up with things that you're interested in. Like I'm always getting like Dude Perfect videos. I'm getting ESPN. I'm getting Cubs. I'm getting board games. I mean, whatever you interact with is what you're going to see. And so, it's
mine is like books and parenting and spouse stuff, whatever I'm doing at the time.
It's really interesting. But honestly, like a lot of the people that I interact with are my age or older. I don't see the younger kids because that's not what I interact with, right?
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
Who are some board gamers that you would recommend following on TikTok?
Plumpy Thimble for
Plumpy
sure.
Thimble
he is
hilarious.
like killing it over there.
Can you say that name again?
Plumpy Thimble. And I'm going to have to pull my phone up. Because
Yes.
I want to make sure I get this name also correct.
Is that HLUMPAY?
Yeah, Plumpy Thimble.
Oh, Plumpy.
Yeah.
I heard Plumpy.
Oh, Plumpy.
Plumpy Thimble. All right.
Yeah, Plumpy Thimble's hilarious. I also really like, there's so many good ones. Like there's some other publishers on there. You keep talking. I'm gonna find.
He's asking about board gamers on the. What do you want me to do?
Look at my followers.
You found him.
There
He has one where he like does a personification of death coming to like collect his soul, and he's like he can play one game, and so
I've seen this.
Yes, ice cold. That's
it.
Plumpy Thimble.
That's Plumpy Thimble.
All right.
So that became really popular. I think he's
that
done
went
a couple.
viral. That was awesome.
So he's done a couple other ones with Death Coming, but he's just got some really good. I think his most recent ones have been about Ticket to Ride, and like someone blocks his route, so then he like blocks every other route on the game board. It's pretty funny. I saw that one earlier. But he's definitely been killing it. He's the one that we both thought of first.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of some of the early people that I followed, like. Glory Hound is on there. She does some content. Nice. You've also
Tantrum
got
House is on there.
Tantrum House does some content.
Oh, nice.
There's somebody that's DMX, and I'm trying to think of her name, but she posts a ton of content, and she's hilarious. And you definitely need to follow her. I'm gonna look for her name when it comes up. I'm gonna shout it out because she deserves a follow because she's really. She and Plumpy Thimble do a lot of like collaboration stuff.
Then go to one of his videos and find it.
Oh, you know what? That's really smart. This is why you get paid the big bucks.
So while you're looking for that, there's one more community kind of place we haven't talked about much, and the world is opening back up. Cons are happening, things are happening, and I am like hungry to play in-person board games again. But cultivating a local board game group is hard, right? And I think you guys may have just moved. Is that true?
We moved into a new house about 2 months ago. I got to move in by myself. I got to like seal the houses, pick it out. He did all like the online like
hunting.
The paperwork.
Oh, no.
I went to his what's it called?
Power of attorney?
Yeah, power of attorney. So I had to sign everything 3 times because I had to sign for me, and then I had to sign for him, and then I had to sign for me signing for him. Oh, wow. So it was like 3 times as long to do everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say that took 8 hours.
Buying a house
and then I got to move us all in.
from
I
another
got to get all
country
our
is
stuff,
not recommended.
hire people.
Especially one that's in a completely different time zone.
Yeah.
It's awful.
But
so we can just so the TikTok person you need to follow.
Yep.
Her name is Games DMax Plays.
Games.dmax.plays.
That's her right there.
Games.
I am so jealous that you can do that and it focuses, because if I did that, it would be completely blurry.
Yeah,
like,
so follow
everything
her.
right here is completely
He's
blurry.
solid. Really enjoy her stuff. But yeah, so we just moved into a new house. This is hopefully our last move. Please, baby Jesus.
This is like our 9th move or something in 8 years. So this is our first time we've like actually bought a house. We've always rented or like lived with family or something. So this is a new adventure for us for sure. But
have you found a board game group yet? Is the big question.
We know a bunch of people that are in Champaign. So like we've been up there once or twice. They've come here once or twice. So we have some people that we know, but we made friends with the neighbor. And we had him over last night. We're playing games.
Yeah.
And
we're pretty much just growing our own little group.
He's talking to all the Starbucks people every time.
I was gonna say, did you invite Starbucks guy?
Yeah. So the first time we went to Starbucks, we actually met the manager.
One of the managers.
And he had made a comment. He really liked Lizzie's purse.
It's a Star Wars like Han Solo outfit thing.
Nice.
And he then noticed our shirts, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, obviously, you guys are nerdy." He's like, "What do you guys do? What do you enjoy?" And we're like, "Oh, like board games and tabletop and video games." He's like, "Oh, that's really cool. Me too." And he's like, "I've actually been trying to talk to the boss, who's the owner of that Starbucks. asking if they can do a game night in Starbucks, and I'm like,
oh, nice.
We're there.
Let's go. Let's go. Coffee and board games? Come on now.
I'm really lucky that there's a group. Do you guys know Meeple Mountain? They're based here.
Oh,
yeah. I'm familiar with Meeple
They
Mountain.
do game nights. Yeah, Andy
Yeah.
does game nights in Nashville all the time, and that's just starting to spin up again. And I'm waiting till my daughter, who's 4 months old, to get a little older, so I can be like, "Hey, babe, do you want to put the kids to bed so I can go do that?" But, I had to point out my shirt. It's a Imperial Walker.
Oh, nice.
Because I have to support.
Is it like a comic panel?
It's
cool.
an actual. It's like a movie still panel. What's that called?
Sweet.
Storyboard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Storyboard. That's awesome.
There it is.
My shirt is green. So
You should have done a green screen. We could have had a floating Zach head.
should have.
I'm wearing my spotlight here.
Oh yeah, you got your spotlight.
Oh
shirt
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very
so
nice.
for local groups, there is a local store as well that I've gone to, and I've talked to the owner. I said, hey, if you want, we put up games on Kickstarter. This is the company I work for. I'd be happy to come in and run demos. He's like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let us know. So we'll be getting Valor and Villainy sent to us this week or next week, and I'm going to try to go into the store and show it off.
All right. So beyond Starbucks, do you have any advice for people at home getting out of the pandemic mode and finding board games out there? Do you have any advice for them to find some people to play with? Go to Starbucks.
Libraries are a good place to start.
That's
a lot of
true.
libraries will have free game collections recently. Like you can play a game at the library or you can talk to them. So I would say go to places where there's going to be maybe some nerd culture, local gaming shops, a Starbucks, a GameStop, a library. And, there's other communities. The big thing is I know it's hard to come out of your shell, and I know it's difficult to talk to people, and coming out of the post-pandemic mode where all you've done is stay inside and people stay away. It might be difficult to be like, hey, this is my name. What do you do? Your kids play sports, talk to the parents. Maybe if you have a little kid, say, hey, when you go around, just be like, do you like to play board games? Do you like to play board? And have your little kid start the conversation.
He's good at that. He gets everyone. Loop and Chewy? Do you want to play Loop and Chewy?
The Orkin guy.
Yeah.
So we
had
had
a spray for bugs.
Yeah,
something
and
living in our
Seb
walls.
comes running through the hall with his Loop and Chewy box. Said, "Look at the new game I got."
No,
I
we were
actually
playing
saw-
Strike in there, yeah.
I saw the bug post that you guys made online, and it sounded terrifying. I don't know what it was.
It's a lot quieter now. It sounds like it's dying now that he's sprayed. So
Good,
hopefully.
All right, I could talk about Star Wars, bugs, how to find people to play board games with all day, but we do have to talk about one more topic before we let the game go or the episode go, and that is games we're excited about. Zach, we have not done a games we're excited about in a very long time.
Long time.
It's been a while, so I'm going to let you start. Actually,
I'm starting. All right,
you're starting, so you're going to be talking about.
This is great. I'm going to be talking about Legend Academy by our friends over at El Dorado Games.
What other games have they made, Zach?
They have made that I have played. They made Island of El Dorado and Windward. Just played that for the first time the other night. Very, very fun. Really impressive pieces and table presence. Lot of fun. And then Age of Atlantis. I think that was last year Kickstarter maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has shipped yet, but it looks super cool. Really big fan of their games in general. I think they do great design work, especially. I think a lot of their games are just really well considered, especially visually. And actually, it's funny enough, I actually saw about this for the first time when they messaged us on me on Instagram, because we had just started posting, just running occasional test ads for Mythic Mischief, which is our newest game, also about mythics and not superhuman, because they're not all human, but mythical beings going to school, and ours is also that too. Oh no, I hope we don't have too much crossover. Luckily our art styles are totally different, the gameplay is totally different, so we're good. But what we might do is like a little rivalry, school rivalry between the two. But anyways, more about Legend Academy. So it's you are an ancient folklore character kind of before their story was told. So you're like going on. You're at this school. You're learning how to be a legend, a hero. And so you're attending this Legends Academy and you learn skills to kind of go on these big adventures. It's a cooperative Euro style game, and it combines deck building, worker placement, and dungeon crawling, which are like three of my favorite things. Absolutely stoked about that. So you build decks of like skill cards by taking classes at the academy, and you go on famous quests from ancient tales. And there's like this professor. He's giving you a final exam. It's made up of the exam is 2 adventures, and you're trying to get a better grade than all of your opponents.
Nice.
And they're playtesting right now. If you scroll down on this GameFound page, you can go playtest it right now.
Nice.
Looks really fun. Love the combination of mechanics. I did a perusal of the rule book. Didn't look terribly difficult to learn, but looked like a lot of fun. So I'm excited.
It looks like Paul Bunyan, Zorro. I think I see Red Riding Hood, and maybe is that Wonderland? Why can't I think of her name?
Alice.
Alice. Thank you. I mean, that's like awesome that they're like the heroes, and it seems like our school is kind of like the evil people, like vampires and Frankenstein's monsters and things like that. So they're definitely going to go head to head.
It's the monsters.
But these minis look great.
Yeah, the mini designs look great. They've been showing a lot of cool process stuff over on their Instagram. Just like like a lot of their art for this game was like rendered in 3D programs rather than illustrated, which is kind of
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, really excited for this one.
All right,
that's my game I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, great pick. It's do you know when it launches? 38 days from now.
Yeah, 38 days from now. So
is that August?
End of July or early August. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Cool. Awesome. Nice. We'll have to cover that when it comes out because it looks amazing.
For sure.
Cool. All right, Lizzy, you wanted to talk about Endless Winter. I backed this game on Kickstarter, so I'm also excited about it. But yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Well, it's Stan Kordonsky, who is my favorite designer. That's basically all I know, and I backed off that.
Nice. That's incredible. That's all.
He did Rurik, he did Lockup.
So Miko did the art for it, and it is a Euro style game with.
You've already sold me on it, so anything
I know.
is just icing on top.
Lizzy,
she's like,
I know.
Your thought process is my thought process for like just a few designers. Like I'm like, oh yeah,
I think he's the only one that's all I need, honestly. And I mean, didn't you talk to him once and you're like, I hope I can design a game Lizzy loves as much as you one day?
All right. So me and Stan have only talked once, and it was this morning. And I'm a little embarrassed because he reached out and he was just like, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'm about to launch a Kickstarter and just wanted to talk about it. And so we talk about it a little bit, and I had no idea who he was. And then he had mentioned something like, yeah, like my last game that I did, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, shoot, I'm woefully unprepared for this conversation. So I looked him up on BGG and I was like, oh my gosh, like Endless Winter.
We just got Shadow Kingdoms over there.
Yes, I had to play that.
What is it? Dice Hospital? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Dice Hospital.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Zach.
I was gonna say, Lizzy. So what makes a Stan? What makes his games his games? Like what do you think has gotten him to this status for you?
He does a lot of, you have to do like future planning, so you have to know what you're going to accomplish in the game before you do it. You can't just kind of fly by the seat of your pants. And I really like the planning aspect of it. And he's got, in Lockup, it's kind of like blind bidding, and in Rurik, it's open bidding for what you want. And so I love the planning aspect of it. And I think he's taken some really common mechanics, and he's just kind of made them kind of new and a little different.
Fresh,
I really like the area control in Rurik. I think it's really fresh, and it's not as confrontational as some games, which is what I enjoy. I don't like confrontation as much, but that game, even though it is kind of like a war battle game, it doesn't feel as confrontational as a lot of other games that would be that same style. And so I really enjoy that.
I know that the We Game Together folks really like Rurik as well, and I have not played it, but it's definitely one that I really want to get in and try. But yeah, I love bidding type games. I love that. Like I'm kind of surprised I haven't played any of these recently. Like I haven't played any of these new ones.
Well, if we ever get our hands on Rurik, we could play it at a convention. So
let's do it. That sounds incredible. Cool. All right, I'm going to cover one. And I chose Valor and Villainy, and it's not for the obvious reason that they are in stream, but it is because I covered this on Ivy Backed, which is another show that we do that talks about Kickstarters, and I was just blown away. So taking a step back, the Tidal Blades campaign was one that we just adored while we were trying to figure out Moonrakers, right?
It's on our mood board.
It was on our mood board for Moonrakers, and you guys had this great animation, and the page just looked amazing. So I've been a fan of y'all's Kickstarter pages for a long time, and there were just some things on here that I just loved, and I wanted to point out one of them, and so I'm going to put it up on screen in a second. But the removable hands on it's so great. It's like it's got different weapons
cool.
you can put on the main bad guy, and I'm like, all the minis I make suck because I don't have individual weapons I can put on my different arms. And so, which you guys unlock that like day one, which is incredible. So I love those day one unlocks. You gotta really so that they can actually make it in the game. So, but really, really excited about this game. I haven't played the first one. So you're like, well, how is he this excited about this game? I don't like one versus many games. I played Star Wars Imperial Assault once. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is okay. And now I use Imperial Assault all the time, but it's for my Star Wars RPGs, not for playing Imperial Assault, right? Like I love the components.
Yeah, the miniatures.
Yeah, they're great. And so I'm really excited to try it now that it's not a one versus many. No offense, like I mean, everybody loved the first game. It's just my personal preference. I don't like one versus many. So now I'm excited to dive into this. And just like the exploration and moving around the map and like those tiles changing every game. Like I love the replayability of stuff of that. So yeah, I'm really pumped. This is live now, people. So don't snooze on it. Check out this page. It's already at $250,000 and it's got 14 days to go. So it's going very well. So yeah, they're killing it. All right, Derek, you're up.
So this is 11 from Portal Games. It's coming to GameFound later this year. It is a football simulator. So if you've ever played like literal football simulator on your computer, this is a port from the video game to the tabletop. 1 to 4 players. And you're managing, it's a Euro style game of managing a club. So like hiring coaches and training your players, getting better players.
Football like soccer.
Yeah, soccer. Yeah, football manager.
This is 11 people.
Yeah, and so I'm really stoked for this because I know coming from Portal, it's going to be amazing. Number one, because as a European publisher, like they really will take care of like the actual theme. Yeah. But also just because the games they make are really good, and I'm excited to see how they pull this off. So far, there's not a whole lot of information yet, but
yeah. The cover of it looks awesome.
Yeah,
they have an alternate cover, I think, too, of just some of the celebrating. It's funny that you said that they're a European company and so they really get soccer because that's totally true. But there was a Scarface 1920 that's out right now. I was like, oh man, this is really good, like gangster, like lore and like really cool miniatures, and like they really understand Chicago. And then I was like, oh my goodness, these people are in Barcelona. Like how the heck? How the heck did they nail this? Like, and like the game's doing incredible, and it's just it's so funny that they did a Chicago-based game being there and actually nailed it and did a really good job with it. So they did their research. I mean, I haven't been to space, and we made Moonrakers, so I guess you can do it. But
haven't been to space.
Well, I mean, that's not to say that like an American company couldn't do a good soccer game. They certainly could, because as long as you do your research and you know the property. I'm just saying, like soccer or football is the biggest sport in Europe, so it's kind of just ingrained from the very beginning. Like that's what you love. Yep. So. No, I totally agree with you. I'm glad it's a European company too. For sure. And I mean, Ignacio's, his mind is incredible. So it's with him behind that project, it's going to be really good. Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Well, should we do our rapid fire ending questions?
Rapid fire questions, Zach.
All right. So I've got it. It's an ever growing and changing. It's really just by my mood, I guess. I don't know. We'll make it more official as we go. But just like short questions for you to close the episode off. You both feel free to answer. Just some quick questions for you. All right. First up, meeples or minis?
Meeples.
Minis.
Hello.
All right. Euro or Ameritrash?
Euro.
Okay. Resource management or worker placement?
Resource management.
Placement.
All right. What game did you bring to the table most recently? What was the most recent game?
You played? Oh, I played Strike with Seb today.
No, last I played was Tutankhamun from Reiner Knizia.
Nice.
Okay. Nice. All right.
You nailed that pronunciation.
What are you going to play next? Like, what game is going to hit the table next that you have never played before? So what's your, like, it's been on your wall for a while. You're trying to get it to the table.
Should I answer? Because I probably know.
You go first.
Because I'm the one that usually says, "Hey, we're gonna play this."
I know we have like a whole. We have our Calyx full of games that we have not played.
Yeah.
And we have them like all organized.
I mean, I can even like. Well, I don't know if I can do it now. It's right here. Anyways, Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. That's gonna be the next one. Mainly because Rodney just dropped a How to Play, and when Rodney drops How to Plays, let's like. Boop.
Yep,
that's true.
Yep.
Well, also Valor and Villainy is coming, and we're gonna be covering that. I haven't played that one.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll be
there. It is.
I mean, the one So that's what I'm gonna say.
Before you jump into your next question, Zach, I am always so disappointed when I'm like, all right, time to pick a video for Alana to watch to learn a game, and Rodney doesn't have a video, and I'm like, no.
Yep. Yeah. I think when we got back together, we were doing Whatnot Cabinet, and so Derek's like, oh, let's just see if there's a video. And Rodney came up, and I like screamed. I was like,
screamed. I was like, wow.
And I was like, I'm just so excited.
He's just so good. He's just so good.
Long. He is. But yeah.
All right, last one. What game is currently at the top of your top 10 list of board games?
Ooh.
So like overall, or maybe like
or like the hotness right now, but we're just.
So I would say, like, I phrase it this way: is like if you've rated every game on Board Game Geek that you've ever played, what would hold the highest ranking?
Star Wars Rebellion.
Woo!
Nice, quick answer too.
I mean,
it's that good.
It's the only answer, so whatever you say is going to be wrong.
Well, I don't know. I'd probably say Welcome To. Maybe that was I
thought you'd say Aliens.
I played Welcome To so many times, and that was like the first roll and write that like I fell in love with.
And you did that
all
huge
the expansions.
game.
I did the big Gen Con. Like I played.
You led the big
play. And then at the end, like I was like squaring. I was like, "Hey, let's start at 100. Who's got 100?" And everyone just like looked at me, and they were like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, that's."
Okay.
That's low for me. Okay. Let's start at like 50. Anyone at 50? And I was
incredible.
like, sorry guys. But I would say maybe Welcome To.
Okay. I've got Welcome To. It's actually probably going to be my next table or next table to hit the game. Next game to hit the table that I have not played.
Great game.
That's fabulous.
So I'm excited. It's been sitting there for a while. So
shame. It's been out for a long time.
It's been on my shelf for a long time.
Okay. So we have to play the same game 1,000 times once a year, and then we have like 2 months where we try to play as many different games as we can, and then it's back into play testing for our next game. You guys understand this? You understand?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We get it.
For sure.
We get it.
For sure.
Yep. But it is funny, like I have people and they're like, "Oh, you're so lucky! Like you get to play games as a part of your job." I'm like, "Yes, I am very lucky. I'm not saying I'm not, but I also play the same game like 500 times in like a 4-month period."
Yep.
And that's fun, but I'd like to also play other games.
No, and we totally understand. We're right there with you.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for being willing to come on the show. Thanks for being great people. I'm really, really excited to hang out in the future at Gen Con or at other con. We'll be there with the booth, so we'd love to hang out. And thanks for being good people in the community.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks again for the invite, and we had a lot of fun on the show.
Yeah, no, it's been wonderful having you. We're gonna do a giveaway for a Moonrakers Kickstarter edition, and the giveaway in honor of Star Wars Rebellion will have to be something related to Star Wars. If you don't have something related to Star Wars in your comment, we will not accept it as a viable answer. And if it's something negative about Star Wars, we will also not accept it as a viable answer. It has to be something positive about Star Wars. I love running these shows because I get to choose the giveaway passwords. But yeah, please comment with something along Star Wars. It can be something about what is it? It's the Chewie game. What's the
Loop and Chewie?
Loop and Chewie. You can comment about something about that. It could be about something about Star Wars Rebellion.
It could be
about my shirt.
Something positive about The Last Jedi.
No, Zach.
I think that would
Zach
be great.
had to leave us. Zach couldn't finish.
Oh yeah, bye everybody. Yeah, good to be here.
I don't like The Last Jedi. It's okay. All right, I'll end the show before me and Zach start talking about The Last Jedi for 2 hours.
We'll fight about this later.
Yeah.
Not in front of the kids, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next week on Star Wars. No, not Star Wars. Ivy Games
Star
Weekly.
Wars Weekly.
Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.